Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Fluff Bruce. I have a signature guitar amp plugin that you may have heard of called Amped Roots with ML Sound Lab, which is right here where you're watching this video right now. I wanted a simple but great sounding guitar plugin, and the intent of Roots was to take you to 90% of where you want to be tone-wise. And today we are going to talk about adding that last 10% of sauce in the context of a mix using Amped Roots. So I am in Logic, I have a mix going, and currently it sounds pretty good. It sounds like this. Sounds awesome. Now, for my rhythm guitar tone, I'm using Amped Roots. I'm using different amplifiers on each side. So for the guitar left, I'm using the Mega Fluff. And on the right-hand side, I'm using the Freeman. And the reason why I like to do this is because it actually adds to the perceived width of the guitars. Without adding some artificial imaging or anything like that, which will could possibly mess with your phasing in a mono situation, listening to on a phone, something like that. When you're using two different amplifiers in any scenario, really, you have to make sure to level them out because, you know, the same output on one amp is not the same volume-wise as another amplifier. So I have dipped the output on the Freeman just a little bit right here. I am boosting the Freeman, and I am also boosting the Mega Fluff. These are my settings, and I think these sound pretty good, but they could be better. It's missing a little bit of the sauce, which we're gonna add right now. So I'm going to first listen to the guitars solo. I wanna just kind of get a sense of what they're doing on their own. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple of standard EQ moves. I'm going to pull up FabFilter Pro Q3. Now, this was disengaged, like none of these things that you're about to see were engaged when you heard this playback. I'm using a high-pass filter at 102 and a low-pass filter at about 8,500 or so. This is always to taste, and it just depends on the guitar you're using and the scenario and the mix situation that you are in. I will typically be, as far as the high-pass filter goes, pretty much between 80 and 100 hertz, just depending on what I'm doing. I'm pretty much always going to dip about 750-ish because I want to get rid of any quackiness that guitars tend to have. They're a very mid-range heavy instrument and sound. And I will then add a little bit of a dip at 187 for the mud, for the palm mutes. And I'm also making this dynamic. Okay, so it's not affecting it at all times. It's just when it exceeds the threshold, it will keep it in check, as it were. So I'm going to turn this on and off and let you hear what this is doing on the solo guitars and then in the context of a mix. That's definitely cleaned it up a lot for me. We have a little bit more to go. I want to hear a little bit more top end, but I'm not going to use this EQ to add any frequencies. This is a very, very clean, transparent EQ, and I will typically use FabFilter for deductive EQ moves. If I want to add something, I will do the following. So I'm going to turn Pro Q3. I'm going to leave this on from here on out. I'm now going to pull up one of my favorite plugins. This is the SSL X Saturator V6. This is going to add top end. This is going to add some depth. It's going to add saturation. It's just going to add some additional life into the guitars, which is very, very prevalent in the context of a mix. We're going to go over the settings here in just a second, but first, I'm going to turn this on and off, which you will see by the light coming on and off, and you will. This just makes the guitars pop in the context of a mix. Check this out. So what am I doing? Well, I'm adding a little bit of depth. I left, the harmonics are at basically half. I'm adding 1.3 dB of drive, and I have the mix down just slightly from 100%, about 91%. This is adding depth and weight to the guitar sound, and it is very, very effective for making the guitars pop in a mix without being too intrusive, in my opinion. Now, these settings, again, will vary depending on your specific mix situation. However, this is a trick I love to use without just adding a bunch of top end arbitrarily to get the guitars to pop. If I were to be really picky, I guess I could dip the guitars down just a skosh because of the X Saturator. Let's play this one more time and finally adjust the volume. And there you have it. That is how I like to add sauce to my guitars using Amped Roots.